One of the key Twitter accounts I follow for news on antitrust is Matt Stoller's. Matt Stoller is one of the leading scholars of antitrust and monopolies in America. And if you look at his feed on Tuesday, well, first of all, his pinned tweet is his book Goliath, which is about monopolies. And if you look at his Twitter feed over the course of Tuesday, you see a lot of excitement about Lina being appointed chairman of the Federal Trade Commission. So if he's excited about this, it's a substantive thing. And as Matt says in one of his tweets, Wall Street takes Lina seriously. The FTC is relevant again. Now, for the last few years, one point I've been making in articles on Amazon and the other big tech oligopolies is that there's really only been two risks to them that shareholders need to concern themselves with. One is a broad market downturn, and the other is antitrust enforcement. A competitor isn't going to come out of nowhere to challenge Amazon. It's just too big, it's too established. But if the federal government were to split up Amazon and, for example, split off Amazon Web Services, which churns out a lot of the profit that fuels the rest of the company, it would be a different business. It would be less formidable. So it's something to consider hedging against. Now, if you were to ask me, are the odds high that Lina is going to materially impact Amazon over the next several months? I'd say no. But hedging is about protecting against serious risks that are unlikely to happen, but possible. And if you have a lot of money invested in Amazon, it might make sense to hedge. So let's look at a couple ways of doing so. We'll go ahead and we'll open up the Portfolio on our iPhone app. And the first thing we'll do is we'll type in the symbol for Amazon, which is AMZN. The next thing we'll do is we'll type in a number of shares. I'll use 100 for this example. And then the next thing, we'll enter the maximum decline that we're willing to risk. What maximum loss we're hedging against. So a lot of times I'll put in 20% here for examples, but Amazon is only up a few percent year to date. So let's be more conservative here and we'll use 10% as our decline threshold. And then the next field asks how far out you want to hedge. For this example, we'll stick with our default, which goes approximately 6 months out. We tap Find Optimal Hedge, and we're presented with the optimal put to protect against a greater than 10% decline in Amazon by mid-December. The cost, calculated conservatively using the ask price of the puts. Remember, you can often buy puts at some price between the bid and ask, was $20,270 or 5.99% of position value. We can potentially lower that by trying to hedge Amazon with an optimal collar. So let's try for starters using 10% as a cap. That means we're indicating we're willing to give up any gains on Amazon above 10% over the time frame of the hedge. And then we tap Find Optimal Hedge, and here we're presented with an optimal collar on Amazon to protect against a greater than 10% decline in the company while not capping our upside at anything less than 10% between now and December 17th. And here the net cost is negative, meaning we would collect a net credit of $55 when opening this hedge. So if you consider that Amazon's only up about 3 or 4% year to date, it might not be a bad idea to consider this hedge here, where it gives you the potential of another 10% upside by mid-December, but you're also protected if something material happens on the antitrust front between now and then. Something to consider.